Good evening, my name is Caitlin Ramsey, and today I'm going to be persuading y'all as to why you should buy a Switch Lite over a Nintendo Switch, which I will be calling a big boy because habit. Now, I have been owning Nintendo consoles since the year 2006. This is my DS Lite, this is my DSi, and this is my 3DS. I still have all the games that I bought over the years with me. And so I am a big fan of Nintendo consoles and Nintendo games. So the three categories that I'll be going over today as to why you should buy a Switch Lite over a big boy Switch. I will be going over price, I will be going over physical size, and I will be going over a final critique that I didn't even know existed until I bought the bigger Switch today, which is the hub, which is what I personally call the hub. So to start off, we're going to be talking about the two price differences in the consoles. When I bought my Switch Lite in November of 2019, I bought this Switch, I spent about maybe $200 on it. Whereas whenever I bought my big boy Switch in June of 2021, literally about 2 weeks ago, I spent almost $400 on it. And that was not only because of the quality, which they're both great quality, but because ever since the pandemic, getting a big Switch like this has been very, very difficult for a lot of people to get their hands on. I looked into ordering this online, and it would have taken me it would have taken a longer wait than to just go to 5 different stores. I think my roommate and I drove all the way to Conroe, to the GameStop in Conroe, to get this Switch, and it was the only one they had. So already the Switch Lite is better than the regular Switch, especially as a college student living paycheck to paycheck. How I had afforded the Switch Lite was I had sold old jewelry that ex-boyfriends had given me. I did out-of-school modeling. I even did in-school modeling, but I did modeling for life drawing students. I did favors and odd jobs for people around town, and also any money that I had left over from groceries would go into a little cash stash that I had for the Switch. And so when the opportunity came to me that I could buy a Switch that was cheaper than the one that I was originally saving for, I took the opportunity to get the Switch Lite, because then after that I would still be able to afford food and groceries. And so I just went with the better option and the more affordable option. Another reason why the Switch Lite is more affordable and, in my opinion, better than the regular Switch is the pure size difference in the consoles. This is kind of an odd way of holding it, but the Switch Lite is very telling on how much smaller it is compared to the big boy Switch. And I travel a lot with my consoles. I did whenever I was growing up with these. I still travel, and I still mostly play Nintendo consoles on the road. So I prefer to pack light and to pack small, so to have a console that could play the games that I wanted, but it would still save me a lot of space. That is why I went for the Switch Lite at first rather than the big Switch. And I still prefer the Switch Lite over the big Switch, even after owning it for half a month. Mostly because I like the size of this compared to the bigger Switch. And the final reason why I prefer the Switch Lite over the regular Switch is something I did not even know existed, which is what I personally call the hub. So Nintendo has made it to where if you own 2 Switches and they're attached to the same Nintendo account, a Nintendo account is where you can buy video games online, and it keeps your save data. I did not know this until the day that I bought the Switch, this Switch, but apparently you can only have one Switch active to be able to play games offline. So whenever I got this Switch, my Wi-Fi was actually out. And so whenever I turned on the Switch, I could not play. And once I was able to download a game from my friend's hotspot, I wasn't allowed to play Animal Crossing without Wi-Fi or without the hotspot. Without an internet connection, this is basically just an expensive brick. Same goes for this one. And because of that, I have decided to keep my Switch Lite as my main hub switch, because since I do travel with it often, it is just easier for me to keep it as the hub and allow myself to play games away from Wi-Fi, whereas with the big boy Switch, I can keep it as a main home switch. So to wrap up the comparisons between the Switch Lite and the regular Switch, I find the Switch Lite is better for the average college student, making it paycheck to paycheck, physical size, if you are looking to save space, and finally, if you keep the Switch Lite as your hub, you will be able to play games on the road and still save space and still save money. Thank you very much.